This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. Tonight we're talking about a very special topic, the demise or the destruction of the young black male in the Bahamas. The late Chris Findlayson, a young man I got to know in the 80s while I was in the trenches with the drug problem. I saw Chris get off drugs, and for 2 years he and I traveled throughout the Bahamas. And he became a real close friend of mine. But then sadly, he was taken out on a yacht and somehow re-addicted. He had diabetes, and he died at the Princess Margaret Hospital of diabetic coma. But just before he went into coma, I sat with him that Thursday night. He died the following day. Chris said to me, Dr. Allen, when this drug hits Nassau and the Bahamas, and the crime and the violence is going to come, it's going to be a lot of hell in our country. He died. In fact, I did his funeral. I've lived to see that come true. A lot of our young black men, they're either dead, they're in prison, they're on the blocks, they're on drugs, or they're unemployed. Fellow Bahamians, this is a very important challenge to us. Remember, we've already had one Holocaust in the Bahamas, the Cayenne Indians. The distinguished historian Paul already described it so poignantly, how these 40,000, 50,000 people were just taken off from the Bahamas, never to return again. And our whole country was left empty. Are we facing the development of the destruction of the young black male? With me is my friend, and also colleague, because I can't do the kind of work I do unless guys like Eric Fox stand beside me. He's a young man who's in the trenches. He knows what's out in the streets. He knows what's happening there. You got to listen to him. And he's here today to discuss with me, what do we do about this situation? We're facing the destruction of the young black male. It seems almost hopeless. Eric, what do we do?
Well, Dr. Allen, first I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this show today, People Helping People. Dr. Allen, we are in a dilemma where we have a war that is going on.
A war?
It's a war.
Bahamians don't believe that.
Well, they don't need to believe it. They just need to look at the newspaper.
So you mean these killings are like war?
It is a war. First of all, it's a spiritual war. Then secondly,
Wait, what do you mean spiritual war?
Well, it's a war against the soul, primarily for the young man. The first, we got the prince of darkness. Darkness is ignorance. So first of all, he's trying to pollute their minds and trying to...
The prince of darkness, you mean the devil?
The devil, yeah. He's the prince of darkness. Darkness means ignorance.
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 So a lot of young men don't know.
They don't know who they are.
A lot of Bahamian young black men do not know who they are.
They don't know who they are.
Why? Why haven't we taught them?
Because no one is telling them who they are. No one is sitting down and telling them the power they possess, the quality that God has placed inside of them, and that everything they need for life and godliness already resides inside them, and that God has placed them right underneath Him and crowned them with glory and give them the power to take dominion over the earth and have the dominion over their circumstance and situation. One of the number one reasons when people respond in violence is powerlessness and fear. So they respond when they feel powerless, but they need to understand, even though they're feeling powerless, that don't mean they are powerless. They only feel in that way. And so a lot of these young men are taught through other individuals, because violence is a communication. Violence is taught. That's something they learn to be violent. You don't automatically be violent. You might feel angry, but you learn to be violent.
And how are these young men learning to be violent?
Because the type of people they're hanging around. Various songs that push in violence, very movies.
Like what I mean? What kind of song? I mean,
huh?
What kind of songs,
But
man?
they get songs like this fella Rick Ross got a song that say, "What's your body count, nigga? I'm double digits. What you talking about, nigga?" He said, "What's your body count? I'm double digits."
I mean, how many people you killed?
Yeah. Now these things.
And the young men play this song.
They're playing these songs, and then another thing too, that there are a certain amount of stuff that is going on that these young men begin to think that, hey, listen, if I don't carry myself like a person who don't play, or if I ain't ready to, they call it cut a movie.
What do you mean, cut a movie?
They mean carry some actions, you know. Yes, just do it.
To get stripes.
To get stripes. And they think people are taking.
And in the community, the stripes give them power.
Yeah, you know, power.
The bad men, the girls like them.
Yeah, people take advantage of them, or they don't see themselves as they believe that power is when you execute violence, but that ain't power. When you operate in violence, you're not really a powerful person, you know. You lose your power, you give up power. A powerful person is the person who can restrain himself. He's more powerful than the person go there who's shooting the gun. A man who can walk away and say, "I'm sorry," or who can walk away. A man who's not dictated by how he feels, he's a powerful person. But they don't know that because no one is telling them that. They think if I feel something, I either respond to it or I suppress it with drugs. And that's what a lot of the young men do. Because you'll find that most of these young men who are involved in these violent crimes and stuff are big marijuana smokers. So they are suppressing a lot of these different feelings, anger, these different disappointments and resentment. They're suppressing a lot of the emotions, but the emotions work themselves out. And you begin to find that's why something happened, they become angry, they go get a gun, and they bam, bam. That's the end result of all these different issues.
So they don't jaw. So they just have war.
Yeah.
So you don't say, "You hurt me. You make me angry." You just bam.
Bam. They don't know how to figure out what they're thinking from what they're feeling. They see a situation. Their perception is, this guy got something against me, so I feel disrespected. They don't figure it out.
He dissed me.
He dissed me.
He got a vibe against me.
They feel that. But that's feelings are not feelings are only feelings. But now you're making a decision. You're making a lifetime decision based on something you feel. You make a decision that you can take somebody else's life more likely your life can be taken. Huh?
Sounds like life is cheap.
Listen. The Bible says that the only thing can redeem a life is another life. Now, I ain't tell you I push in capital punishment, right? And maybe I am pushing it, but at the end of the day, right? God told Noah that if a man kill another man, his life shall be taken, right? Because you have just killed the image of God. We lower the bar. We lower the bar to a point.
We're lower the bar in the Bahamas.
The bar's low. The bar's low.
So life is cheap.
Life is cheap. Life don't value nothing. I mean, you kill a man, that's the image of God. Who give you the right to think you can kill somebody, man? You ain't create them.
How did we get here, Eric?
How
did we get here?
Let me tell you how we got here. We got here through.
Because you've known me a long time.
I know you a long time. You
heard me when I was trying on the crusade.
You prophesied this years ago. True, when all the cocaine and stuff came around and there was a lot of cocaine smokers, there was neglect to the family.
You heard me talking those days?
Yeah, and the stuff, people died from AIDS and the family was neglected. And so now these young men grew up. These young girls grew up. They had kids. And because they were neglected, they passed on this abuse to their kids. And all this different stuff, these cocaine babies, all these different behaviors and stuff. And we end up to this point. We created an appetite now.
Why didn't we do more?
Well,
doesn't the country care about its people?
They cared. It was an experimental stage. It was something new that just came in the country. I don't blame nobody. You know what I mean? Because I got caught up in it myself, in the drug trade, in the juice and the drugs and what's not. And thank God, I made a lot of my friends.
How come you didn't get killed?
I just escaped.
You had friends who died?
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them died. Who ain't died from AIDS, died from collateral damage, I mean, shootings and different things, you know.
And do you feel it when your friends die? Or you don't
of course,
feel it?
Man.
Or you guys, you're so numb, you don't feel
everybody
it?
feel, not because you ain't paying attention to it.
Even a tough guy would say,
yeah.
he sounds cool, but you say,
so
when your friend got shot or killed,
yeah,
what did it feel like, Eric?
Fear, you got fear. You nobody want to die, you know.
Say what?
You nobody want to die. You think anybody want to die? We get people who confess Jesus Christ as Lord don't want to die. He ain't giving up their life just like that. So you could imagine you're there, you get fear, you can die. And
so even these tough guys talk about killing and stuff, when their friends die, it affects them.
Well, it affects them, but you need to understand something. In our mind, you psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever title you
There's
get.
a lot of things I don't know, though.
I know, but what I'm knowing
you taught me a lot, Eric.
You know the mind is set up.
I sit under you, man.
Yeah.
I was brought up soft, man. I you guys could. Trick me anytime.
No, man. No. You good at what you do. But you know the mind is set up in a particular way, dog, that you could block things out. Or you could suppress it. That doesn't mean it ain't there. You could just bad experience and stuff. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to see it. You block it out. That don't mean it's not there. So what these guys, they come to the point where they numb themselves. They feel it, but we in the Bahamas now say men don't cry. Men, man and woman don't have different emotions. We tell people that, but they got the same. It's just that women express their emotions more. Men tend to lie. They tend to lie.
Why?
Because they don't want to give. They'll be in a relationship and things don't go on. A woman will go and say, I feel hurt, and cry to their friends. If it doesn't going to cry, you go in the bar, man, take a drink, man, she going, that's a business, man. Woman like jitney, you mix one, catch another one, and they go right into a relationship with another one with all that problems. But when a woman give herself time to heal and she'll be honest with what she going through, the hurt and pain. Men normally don't do those things. And that's a part of the problem. We don't sit down and talk about how we feel. A lot of us don't even know what we feel. Because we can't put a word to it, and then when we find out, we feel less than a man to say. You can imagine the fellow walking on the block and say, "Man, I feel vulnerable." Nigga, they use sissy. Come on, what kind of dog are that?
You don't say that.
No, But if a fellow walk and say, "But the day I feel like doing somebody, and I feel like outing a nigga, like, oh yeah, they can relate to that."
Eric, it's interesting. You describe that. You describe a condition. Professionally, they call alexithymia.
Okay.
A without, lex words, themia, hot feelings. So a lot of these guys can't express hot feelings.
No.
So when they feel angry or they feel jealous or shame, they only know one thing, knife or gun.
That's what they learn. Now they learn that. That's a learned behavior.
Boy, how are we going to re-socialize?
No, now
how
what?
are we going to relearn?
See, and this is the problem I have too, Doc. Even when I go into a lot of schools, and the schools, they want me to come and they do pep talk. Even the drug prevention, they have a drug prevention day. Come on. Every 6 months, you have a drug prevention day. These children facing drugs every minute of the day. Every time they go home, you're going to have a day to give them application on drugs. Then you go.
And marijuana is now pretty widespread in the schools.
Oh, come on, man. They facing that every day, man. The guys, them smoking Chinese beanie and smoke. This is a constant thing. And not only that, right? We focus on education. And I'm not against education. I all big on education. Education is just information. But what needs to happen, we need to balance it out, because I have a lot of young men come to my program who's smart. These guys go on the computer and do some stuff I can't do. But they can't handle the conflict. They can't handle
they could do anything on the computer.
Yeah.
But they can't handle the conflict.
They can't handle the conflict. They can't handle someone looking at them a particular way or seeking out their girlfriend or call them names. They won't fight. They don't know how to communicate properly. So what we have a lot of educated, stupid people.
So our education is not reaching them.
Education is only information. What I'm trying to say, we need to balance it off. We need to balance it off and teach them a lot of
the church?
social.
The church, Sunday school helping?
The church is good, and I believe a lot of Sunday school is helping. But at the same time, too, we put out a lot of religious stuff that's over the children's head. Over the children's head. We teach them, but we don't even sit and get. Teaching is supposed to be feedback. We don't give them opportunity to share what they have learned. We don't even know if they understand what we said. Because what we do, we get up there and we talk, and we say, okay, pray, go home. We don't sit down and just have a group. What did you get?
So church is not relevant to what's
No,
happening.
it is relevant. I'm just trying to say we get the bait. We get the message.
How come the church is not impacting the social scene?
We got the message. It's just that our bait still.
We have the bait.
We got the right message, but our bait
the church has the right message.
Yes,
but the wrong bait.
We have the only message of hope. Hope is a serious thing, but what I'm saying, the way we present it.
Church on every corner, Eric.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
Doesn't need to be impacting the country.
That's a problem. You can't have all these people running off talking when they're going to be pastor and a bishop and apostle and thing and running off start. They need a lot of them. They need to sit and need somebody, man.
Eric Fox, a great young man, a man who's in the trenches. You've got to listen to this young man. He knows what it's like to be a tough guy. He knows what it's like to re-socialize himself. He knows what it's like to come to Christ. He runs a program for young. He runs Teen Challenge. Thank God for you, brother. We're going to take a break and be right back. This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. I'm talking about the demise of our young black men. Eric Fox, a guy who's in the trenches, who works with a lot of young men whose lives have been blasted by drugs and crime, unemployment. In the last segment, Eric, you made a statement that the church could help. The church has the right message, but the wrong bait. What do you mean?
The church is the most powerful force on the face of this earth. You know, the ecclesia, that's the called out crew, the called out people of God. They carry a message that is powerful, that can impact this country and turn this country right side
Well, why
up.
doesn't it change the country?
But what happens, what I see happening, and I hope it don't come across like trying to put nobody down. There's some churches making some great impact. But a lot of times, you will have someone say, come to church. Jesus say, go. We say, come.
Wait. The church says, come.
But Jesus said, go. They say, come to us. Come join us.
And Jesus said what?
Go.
Explain.
They say, come join us. There's nothing wrong with being a part of a body where you pay your tithe, where you go and you get away. But what do you do after that? You just go home to your family, enjoy it. That's a good message, pastor preaching, what's not. And most people are not going out there to reach. Or there need to be more outreach programs. And if they don't know how to do outreach, then help us. We have a number of different programs we have started at Teen Challenge. We have a 1-year residential treatment program for those with severe problems. We call that guys who need in-house treatment. That's like when you go for surgery. You need. Then we have a halfway home. That's a recovery program for after you've been helped. You have a place to live and work. Then now we also started a program called Temperament. It's a program where we do outpatient treatment. We do anger management and the drug patient program every Thursday night from 6 to 7:30. We also run a suspension program where young men that are suspended from school have an opportunity to come and be on our grounds from 9 to 3.
And that's marvelous. But let me just ask you, how are we going to save the young Bahamian black male? What's your answer?
Well, the thing about it, what's the problem? If these behaviors are learned, right? If these behaviors are learned, that means they need to relearn. They need to learn some other behaviors. And you're only going to learn a behavior when you are actually in the presence of someone. So that means these young men need more male figures to help mentor them.
But once they're into the vice of the crime and the drugs and the unemployment, it's almost like hard to get out.
But the thing about it is it's hard. It's hard to get out. But what we need, first of all, we need an environment. You know, a lot of these young men don't have skills and what's not. And I think the whole educational system needs to change. Because you find a young man call a gun a tool.
A gun is what?
A tool.
Explain.
That's something you use like work. You just consider a tool. That's like a hammer, like a hatchet, like a wrench.
I see.
Like a saw.
So when you have a gun and you aim it at me, what I have is yours.
Yeah, that's my tool I work in.
Cheap.
So
the more powerful gun you have, the bigger tool you have, and the more you can get.
The more you can get. It's the same thing, right? If I can go from using a small drill, getting something done, or I can use a big drill to get something done more quicker. So it's not so much the tool or the gun, it's so much the mindset that the young men have. The mindset, a gun make a young man feel powerful. But guess what? When a young man can provide for himself in mechanics, he feels just as powerful. Huh?
So the guy is shamed and feels powerless, but with a gun he feels I'm somebody.
Yeah, but it's a trick because he is somebody. He just don't know that he's someone without a gun, and he have power without a gun.
But how can we get the message to him without the gun that he's somebody?
Okay, first of all, what we need to go back to the way God do things. The first thing God did was communicate. God said, "Let there be." That's God's first method. Violence is a form of communication. So first thing God did was communicate. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The first thing in the beginning was the word. Communication. First thing is words, right? The first thing He did was communicate. Now we need to communicate to these men, but in order to communicate to them properly, we need to have them in an environment. God placed man in an environment first, you know. He placed him in an environment, then He communicate them and tell them take dominion of authority.
So how do we apply that to the Bahamas? How do we put these young men in an environment first?
We need to create an environment for them.
But how do we do that? They want to be on the blocks. They're in prison. They're in gangs.
But listen, they say most of this stuff that happens, happens from prison. There's a lot of the murders of guys coming to jail are really sent from prison, you know. Just what I got. So now prison is an environment, you know, and prison produce a lot of criminals.
Prison rehabilitation, man.
Come on, man. There's no rehabilitation. I mean, I don't want to knock them. They're trying to be.
Wait. Come on. Prison is about rehabilitation.
It's supposed to be about that. But the church is not about rehabilitation. The church don't rebuild nobody. When you in God, God don't rebuild nothing. You know, God makes you new. The Bible says, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. To rebuild something, you have a transmission rebuild on your car. It always broke down again. That's the problem. These young men need to be new.
Eric, you were a tough guy. How did the message get to you?
Okay, I was placed in an environment. I was taken out of my environment, Okra Hill, and I was placed in an
And
environment.
Okra was a tough place.
Oh,
in
yeah,
those
trust me,
days.
you walk up in the bag, you get robbed. I see guys get cutlass pushed through them and things. You don't come in the bag, get blamed.
So what? Guys get cutlass pushed through them?
Yeah, I saw a guy get cutlass pushed through him.
Yeah, I mean, the old
So
days,
what I'm trying to say
80s,
is,
Okra Hill was
you get
tough.
robbed, you come in the bag, you
There's
can come
bunch
out
of tough guys in Okra Hill.
stretcher.
They up right on the hill. You go up on the hill, coming from Shirley Street, down the hill.
Yeah.
Tough area.
Yeah. So now I've been taken out of that environment, influenced by my family. You know, get out. That's the place for you to go. Came out of that environment. I went to another environment. In this environment was two leaders. There was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Mark Goodman and Pastor Rick Dean. Right?
Remember Rick?
So now here it is. I'm in this environment. I get the instructions and getting influence. Right?
How did they get you in the environment?
I was brought there by my family. Two circumstances, situation.
Okay, so if you don't have a family, it's hopeless.
Family is, listen to me, family is the most, understand
No, but if you don't have a family, somebody there to help you get to the environment, it's hopeless.
It's hopeless. See,
So the young men who are, disbonded or unbonded, they have no mother, no father, they're just isolated cogs. Without family, they can't make it there.
well, that's why they join another family. That's the gangs. The gang is like a substitute family. You see, so once these persons begin to start to reach out, see what happens is that you need a lot of patience, you need a lot of tolerance dealing with these young men. I had a young man tell me that he can headshot me. Tell me he can kill me.
He can what?
He can headshot me.
Head shot you or head chop you?
Shot.
Head shot you.
Yeah, he can kill
Why?
me.
What did you say that made him so
Because
angry?
I stand up to him. I told him he can't be coming to my place high. He can't be acting like this, trying to act crazy. He can break up nothing in here. I ain't tolerating that. So I challenge him. He ain't used to being challenged. He only live with his mother. He's a single. His father's not there. But he keep talking to me about I can call my daddy. I can call my daddy. I can call my daddy. My daddy do this to you. My daddy do that to you. When I spoke to the mother,
he has no daddy.
He has no daddy.
And still saying I can call my daddy.
At least he
has a fantasy of a father.
Okay, his daddy's around, but his daddy's not home. But his daddy don't even check for him.
Fellow Bahamians, did you hear what Eric said? This is very deep. Someone described a man as a boy in search of a daddy. And he said some of the tough young men he worked with, when they get threatened, they say, I'm going to call my daddy. And Eric said, there's no daddy. No daddy who checks for them. But somehow in their mind they had the fantasy or the dream or the hope that some daddy would be there for them.
I went through that
and
too.
there's none.
I went through that. But I used to lie and say, my daddy this, my daddy that, my daddy this, my daddy.
Why young boys do that?
Young boys need to know that there's someone backing them up, and there's someone to look out for them. And even in saying that, this young man was crying when he was saying that. He was crying and he was like, "Go, my daddy can do this, my daddy can do that." When I spoke to the mother said, "Trust me, his daddy don't check for him. He haven't seen his daddy in 6 months." So I went through the same thing too, Doc. When I used to lie and say, my daddy this, my daddy that. And it's because I miss him so much. And because I was hurt that he wasn't there for me.
And that's common in the Bahamas right now.
Man, listen, listen, I have a group of young men who come there. And in our suspension program, get kicked. I ask them about their daddy, a lot of them, And I know there's a lot of good mothers. And I don't, a lot of good mothers who try, man. There are mothers who pushing and this same young man, I didn't take it for granted when I went and I reported to the police because that's threats to death. And his mother called me, we met at the station. And this young man, he saw me, he threw his arm around me and kissed me. Now, him and I have a wonderful relationship, me and this young man. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of young men reaching out, man. And you might not, it's sad that a lot of people have their kids, we have their children, be there for them, right? But you have to reach out to someone else's children too, man.
We have to what?
You have to reach out to some other people's children too. I believe, I have 3 sons. I believe God is going to spare them a lot of the pain I caused my mother. And a lot of pain.
Because of you?
Yeah, because I reach out to other people. A lot of times I see young men and I go to do things for young men. When I will buy something for them or I do something for them, I sow a seed. I say, Lord, the seed I sow in the towards my children.
So the young black male of the Bahamas has nobody there for him?
Most of them are vulnerable and lost. They're easy pickings. What is so amazing to me, Doc, is what is so awesome and so amazing to me. I like all these young men get so much gifts and talents inside of them. I mean, you ask them what they could want to do and what they can do, and all these young men, if you really come
Why are
close,
they dropping like flies, man?
Because
they're either dying by guns, either dying sociologically in prison, either dying psychologically because they have no job or nowhere to go. Yet you're saying they're so talented.
And sometimes I feel like how I could get a message to them to let them know.
It's almost like dead men walking, dead men talking. Those who are not dead, you look at their face, you can see their eyes. The eyes are long, the drugs have got their eyes a long way. Sometimes they can't look at you.
Empty.
And there's an emptiness there. And those who aren't dead, even those who are alive, are like, they're not here.
You know something, Doc?
Do we care about them?
No,
as a country. Do we care about our young black men?
I think we care. I think the government...
Well, how do we show it?
Well, see, the thing about it is this, Doc, is that we need to change the whole way we deal with these young men. Because what we do is we capitalize on the problem. I've changed my whole angle of counseling, Young man come to me, asking out family being with me for drugs and stuff. I don't even talk about that situation. What do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What do you see yourself being in the next year or so? Do you have any dreams and desires? That down in there, that in there. I try to pull that forward. I do not talk about what I see, I talk about what I want to see. And I speak to the future. Because it's inside them.
So maybe you see a young black guy, he's got some locks on, he's got his pants down. He's a thug. So we judge them right away.
Yeah, that's only a front he got. That's only a front. He's trying to hide something.
And then we look at the problem. And you're saying we need to see beyond the thug and say, what are your dreams, man?
What's your dream? What do you do? Where you want to go? Do you know that?
How do we learn that, man?
Huh?
Because people are scared.
Well, first of all, people need to understand how do people view their own selves first. Or where do they come from?
But you're a tough guy, too.
Yeah.
I was a little scared of you at first.
You need to be scared.
But then when I took the cover off you, you were a very kind, soft guy underneath.
Yeah, that's
so
only
why you need that exterior?
Well, sometimes it's hard to get it away. I
still won't work at softening that exterior. But you say you ain't going to let me do that.
No.
You're afraid that I make you like me. And I too soft.
Yeah, you a bit, But listen, I have... This exterior is really not who I am,
But it can still be tough. I saw one of my programs the other day, when you spoke, man, boom.
Yeah.
And I say, do you still need that toughness?
No, I don't need it, but maybe sometimes
Why'd you let it go? Why'd you let it go?
Huh?
Why do you still need it?
I'm trying to let it go.
You're scared to be soft,
I don't never want to be soft, but what I'm saying, I'm trying to let it go, but when you've been away for practice away for so long, it's hard to let it go, because you don't even know.
What does the exterior do for the young black male? A tough exterior. What does it do?
Oh, well, it's more of an image he put out there.
I see.
It's more for the world.
So he may be soft inside, but he out there, the bad guy.
Yeah.
And everybody stop.
That's really not who he is,
Wow.
It's a front.
The image is only a front. And behind the image of some of our young males, there's a kind, loving person who is dreaming of a Bahamian dream, who longs to have a daddy or somebody to say, I believe in you. We're going to take a break and be right back. This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program People. Helping people. I'm talking with Eric Fox, a young man. He used to be a tough guy. I was scared of him years ago, but God did a wonderful work in his heart, and now he helps many young men. And if anybody could speak authoritatively on what needs to happen to our young men, Eric's the man. And just in the last segment, Eric, you were saying when the guy in the community or the hood presents a tough exterior, you're saying that's just an image?
It's just an image, just a front. There's a front to get by, for him to move and get respect. There's only a front.
What are some of the images they present?
Well, I don't play. I'll do you in. You don't cross me.
I got my boys for you.
I got my gang. I got my backup. And I tough. I don't play. You know, you don't disrespect me. You don't cross the line with me. You know, but all that is just exterior. That ain't what it really is. Everyone want to be needed. First of all, everybody want to be accepted.
But how do we get behind that image?
I can tell you right now, everybody want to be accepted. So you got to look past how they look or even how they acting. Everybody want to be needed and loved. So the first thing you do, you accept them for who they are, but you give them respect. How you doing, sir?
But some people scared of them, man.
Yeah, but if you meet them in an environment, you say, good morning, how you doing? How you doing, man? How's every day? You know?
Always speak to them
yeah,
nicely.
I see them and they get this your son. How you doing, man? You know.
So when you ignore them, you're creating more of a problem.
Yeah. You go up and say, how you doing, man? This your son, hey, man, wonderful, man. You know, how you been, man? How things? Right? Just by that move, you're accepting them for who they are. Then once you get into, once I have I try to find out what skills and stuff they get. Do you know you can make a difference? You need it. Listen, I need you. This country needs you. You have something to offer that I don't. Right? When I put those kind of stuff forward, I can spar with them. I can talk to them. I can go behind that tough image. I can get behind and I can talk to them. And most of them will tell me, man, I really need to talk to you. I'm going through this issue. I get this issue. I got this problem. And could I meet you sometime and really talk to you? Do you know? I look beyond exactly what they're trying to give me, and I don't pay that no mind. Because inside them is something greater than what they don't even know it's in there themselves, I counseled a young man on Saturday. I picked him up from home. He didn't have trans, nothing. I picked him up from his house. Took my own time, man. Picked him up in the house. Took him out, and he had some issues with drugs. So I even didn't talk about drugs. I said, what do you want to be in life? He said, well, I have a job at a hotel, but I really want to be a movie producer. I said, do you know that's possible? And he said, I was looking for school to go to. I told him about a friend of mine who does editing and whatnot, but I'll talk to him for him. That young man, I said, we come to the place where we be able to produce our own movies here in the Bahamas. I want to make a movie myself. And I started to talk to him about his dreams, and I motivate him. I didn't even talk about the drugs. I see those drugs are just exterior things they use to get by. If the man inside him, who he really supposed to be, what God designed him to be.
So if we're going to save our young men, we're going to have to look beyond the exterior.
We got to look beyond that and look at that this man has a spirit.
But the exterior scares a lot of people, man. When they walk the street or tough and in the neighborhood they know is known as bad boys, a lot of people scared.
Well, God hasn't given me a spirit of fear. But He gave me a spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind.
You don't get afraid?
I get afraid, but I don't let it dominate me. It's not going to paralyze me. Fear is good, It's impossible to be courageous without fear. Fear is what makes you courageous. What God told Joshua, fear not, be thou very courageous. He knew he had fear, but he said, fear not, be thou courageous. It's impossible.
That's really great. Courageous, fear thou not. Eric, as you look at your life and you saw yourself on the street and your life now helping people, you obviously had an exterior then too, right?
Yeah.
What had to happen inside you for the image to disappear?
Well, the image fully disappeared. I still working on it. There's a lot of things about me I don't like, and I'd really like to see change. What had to happen? See, the only person can tell you who you really are is your creator. You have to look to Him, and when you look to Him, He show you yourself, and then when He show you yourself, He show you other people just like yourself. That's why when I see a young man out there hurting, I see myself. That's my brother. We got the same daddy. I know what I've been through, but it wasn't until I turned to the Lord, asked God to help me. Most young men don't love themselves,
Why?
Because they don't like what they see.
But they don't enjoy what they're doing?
No.
Because they seem to say being a bad boy is fun, it's powerful. The girls...
They don't enjoy that, man. They trust me. They do that to get by because that's all they know. They don't enjoy that. How can someone enjoy having to hide? Or someone enjoy they can't go this place? Or even they get a girlfriend, they can't take over there or something like that. Or their children, they got to be thinking someone can bum them off. You think any joy? You think there's any? Even people who make money selling drugs, you think there's any enjoyment in that?
So you think the thugs live in fear too?
Of course they live in fear. If anybody plan who even in drugs, they plan to try to get out and be legit. That's the ultimate goal. If you don't get out and be legit, you're going to be in a box. That's anyone's ultimate goal. You think these guys who being bad boys want to stay bad boys for the rest of their life? You think going to happen to bad boys? The same thing that what they do, they going to reap. They know that. They know one day someone coming for them.
They know that.
Of course they know. If they know, they will know. There's an expiration date on everything. You know, everything you pick up in the food store, there's an expiration date on it. The sad thing is that the expiration date on some of them, they don't even know because they ain't checking. But they know in the back of their mind, they just ignore it. They keep it up, they can get slipping. And that's it. You know, the sad thing about it is this, right? I hear people make statements, oh, let them kill one another. Come on, man. They people children, man. You know, every young man get...
What did you say? Say what?
They people children. That's someone child.
So we can't look and say, oh, the drug giants is killing themselves.
No, man. They people children. That's someone child.
They are people too.
Yeah, they people children.
We can't just say all the young black men are killing themselves and let them kill themselves off.
Well, what you see, listen, there's an appetite that is being created. What you think will happen when they didn't bump off everybody and they didn't take their toys? You think it can end there?
No.
They can start looking at me and you.
So we have to stop this idea about saying that's just people, bad guys killing. See, that's not been my impression because once I got behind the image with guys like you, with the help of you in the hood, I realized a lot of these guys are really nice guys.
They're people, children, man.
They're scared too.
Yeah, you get to really know them. They're just regular people.
So when the country starts saying, well, there's bad guys killing each other, it's like we're writing them off.
Well, you think it can stop there? You think of collateral damage. You think it can stop there? You think when this appetite has been emerged and they didn't take all the different types, they didn't do what they got to do, do you think it can stop there? You think it's stopping all the bad guys? Why would they looking to raise up new young men? We're coming up now, and the field is the schools and these other young men who, you know, that's why you see that school BTVI. I have a great deal of respect for them. You know, my ultimate goal, doctor, is to build a home where I can house at least close to 200 boys and bust them into BTVI. BTVI is the future of this country, you know, for these young men, you know. They need to put a tool in their hand. If we know that,
not a gun,
not a gun. If we know that they're not working, if they're not getting the education they need in the environment, girls learn different from boys. Boys learn when they do. We think they become a nuisance because they ain't getting a lot of A's on the page. You know, they're not a nuisance. We need to give them the basics, give them the mathematics and English, and the sooner we identify the problems, the sooner we get them someplace else.
But Eric, you know, you said we're at war. The average Bahamian, they don't understand that. They
don't understand war, eh? We in a war. I mean, come on. You can't. I saw people this morning, 30 murders for the year. You can tell me that in war? 30 murders. What is it? It was the 2nd of April. January, February, March. That means we had 10 a month.
As a guy who's been...
that's a problem.
No, as a guy who's been out there, describe why you call it war when the ordinary Bahamian goes about it and they don't think war. They think of war as Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
What do you mean we're at war in the Bahamas?
There's an appetite that's breeding. There's something that's breeding under the scene with guys. With drugs. And
the drugs started it.
A lot of other stuff going on. Stuff I don't want to talk about now.
No, we don't need to do that.
But there's some stuff going on in Nassau where there's a lot of guns in this country. There's plenty.
Wait, didn't the government have an amnesty?
Yeah, they have amnesty. The
guys giving up the guns?
Yeah, and then I believe they did give up a lot, but the word I get there's a lot of guns in this. There's plenty of guns in this country. Now, when there's a lot of guns, what you thinking, why do people gather guns? If you gather guns, either there's a war going on, you're getting ready to start one. When it's easy to get access to a gun, if you know the certain people, you get access to a gun, easy. You know what kind of power a young man will have. You know what kind of stuff, the way he carry himself, knowing he got a gun. He have a totally different mindset now. Just think that you fool with me, I go and get my reward, and I coming back and I get it. That's how they thinking.
And that's the war. The war is in the thought, is a pattern of living. I need to get you before you get me.
Yeah, and the war that, you know, wherever I go any place, you cross me, I got my business. Do you know, when I walk on, I feel powerful. A lot of people tell me, how you walk, when I am powerful, I feel powerful. Because I found out some things about myself.
That's why you still have this kind of tough exterior.
No, I'm not talking about that at all. I'm not talking about that. That's something I needed to lose. That I'm not talking about. I'm talking about understanding that God has given me authority over the earth, and I can speak things into existence. I have the power to change a situation. I don't look at what I see. I can say what I want, and it will manifest itself. So that's something I begin to learn. Now you check it on the same man. A young man know he could fix a situation with a weapon. It's basically the same exterior that he has.
And they carry their weapons everywhere.
Not necessarily.
Even to parties, they carry them parties.
Sometimes, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay. A lot of young men don't travel with guns.
They just know where to get
them. But they know they got it.
They got it.
They got it.
Mm-hmm. And so when somebody...
And if need be, they got it too. But I'm trying to say they got it. They got it. A lot of young men got guns.
Do they still have a conscience about killing? Or eventually your conscience numbs?
But anything you do for a while, you begin to get less and less. You know, the Bible says the thorns has been sawed with a hot iron.
So in Nassau, some of the young men, their consciences...
They saw it with a hot iron. A lot of them. They
could push you or shoot you.
They go on over reprobate, man.
So if you put a heavy gun in their hand, we're in trouble, eh?
Yeah, man, listen, man, they get feeling them bumping off people, man. Come on, man. Feel them head shotting brothers in there. You don't tell me now. You know, come on, man. You know the fella shoot, kill somebody and go have a party? Or laugh or smoke 2 BD, drink a couple of collect?
After he shoots somebody.
That's where we are right now. But you know what it come from too?
Wait. After the guy shoots the guy, he can go to the party, smoke a marijuana joint, drink 2 beers, and
laugh and say, "Boy, get him good." Say, "Mao, I get him good. I saved a couple of shots. I got him good with 2." But you know where this come from, dog? To think about it, you know, we have sacked a lot of people with money, the middle class, and we have sacrificed our children for material things, you know. And they see material things as being more important in life. I want you to check that out. You sacrifice your child, every time they can't see you, you can't spend time with them. And what happened, that's why I tell a lot of young men, fathers, do social things with your son. The only way you're going to show them how to respect people is when they out there with you and they see how you deal with people. You can tell them all that you want, but if you're on the road cursing at people and you ain't letting people at the corner, and if someone missing come close to your car, you cursing and carrying on, you are showing them this is how you act based on material things. You knock my car, I kill you, and then, you understand what I said? And then you sacrificing them. They can't see you, you ain't spending time with them for the mighty dollar. They interpret that to mean, you know something, life ain't important, what's important is material things. Get these things at the expense of me, at life. So what they think? What they saying? My material things is more important than you. I could sacrifice you for this.
So this materialism, addiction to materialism, has destroyed our soul.
The love of money is a good or evil. You think you feel them killing people, keeping people down? There's some passionate murders and things, or relationships going on, but most of these murders going on money. Money. The love of money is the good or evil.
Eric, this is so powerful and so serious. Fellow Bahamians, listen to Eric Fox. Known him for a long time. He knows behind the scene. He's helped to educate me. He's doing a wonderful work. Invite him to your church. Invite him to your school. Let him talk to your kids, because this is our hope. Not politics, not some change in philosophy, but when young men like this can turn around and say, I believe, and stand up and say, I walk now with the power of who I am, made in the image of God. This is our hope. We're going to take a break and be right back. This is Dr. David Allen, coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. We've been talking about a very scary, painful, terrifying subject, the destruction of the young black male in the Bahamas. They're either in prison, they're on the blocks on drugs, the eyes are distant, vacant, empty, or they're dead, or they're at war, carrying a gun, getting ready to discharge. Eric Fox, a man who's in the trenches, who is one of these young men who turned the other way, who God raised up to be a missionary to our country, is sharing with us that somehow we need to look beyond the image or the facade of the problem and recognize these young men are just like us. They dream just like us. They even call on their daddy even though they have no daddy, because they have a fantasy of wanting someone to be there for them. And he's saying, forget the problem and look at them and see the image of God in them, their meaning, their dignity, their identity, and their value. Eric has also made the point, you can't just say, oh, murder rate is bad guys killing bad guys, because murder doesn't stop there. Once murder starts here, murder goes over there, and it finishes over there, it comes back over here, it just keeps on going. And so, as a little country, he said, we're at war. Break the denial. Break the projection. Stop blaming. Wake up and realize that our country is at stake. How do we break this denial, man? We go about our business. I got my job. I got my house. I got my bars. I live in my gated community.
Yeah. All right.
So I safe.
You're safe, eh? Safe. You're safe nowhere. This just didn't start, but there going to need to be a number of things that we need to do, Doc, in order to try to correct this problem. And yes, bad guys should be killed one another, but we need to understand behind that rises up a new generation, a fresh generation of young men. Now, let me give you an illustration. Jacob had two sons, Levi and Simeon. He had one daughter. The daughter was raped by the men of Shechem. They raped her. And after the guy raped her, he tried to get his daddy, who had some money, to buy out Jacob for the daughter. Well, the brother Simeon, they went to them and cut a deal and said, okay, y'all can marry our sister. Everybody gets circumcised to be a part of it. When they got circumcised, Levi and Simeon killed the man. Killed the man when they were circumcised. Jacob had to flee. We're talking about a family crisis. At the end of Jacob's life, Jacob cursed Simeon and Levi. He said, cursed be the anger of Simeon and Levi, because you have hamstringed horses and you have slayed men. He cursed their anger. He didn't curse them. He cursed their anger. He cursed their behavior, not them. See, your behavior in you. You know, sometimes
to take it home now to our young black male.
A lot of times, what they're doing is not really them, you know. And these very same young men, you check in another time when the man of God Moses rose up. And remember now, Levi those killed men and was cursed. The man of God Moses rise up after they took the gold and made this calf, and the brother started to lie. Aaron talking about he threw the gold in the furnace and the calf jump out and try to find excuses. Moses draw a line and say, who on the Lord's side come on this side, who on that side come on this side. One of the first person to jump on Moses' side was Levi with a sword and kill his own brothers to stand up for the man of God. I say that to say this. A lot of these same young men who we see may be wielding these guns and stuff, these young men in the future can come on the Lord's side. They got the sword, they just got it pointing in the wrong direction.
Do you feel hopeless?
No, man, I ain't hopeless. Hopeless. No, all is not lost.
Is the Bahamas going to lose the war?
No. Will
there be a holocaust of young black men?
I refuse to believe that. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
What's your hope?
My hope, let me tell you what my hope is. My hope is that I'm going
Politics.
No, my hope is no politics, man. I don't have no point. I have a king. I serve a king. Voting in heaven, They don't vote up there.
What about a church?
I go to evangelistic camp. My pastor is the Reverend Dr. Gary Cow. I call my father, him and Pastor Vaughn Gash. I have mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, V.G. Clark, Ivan Butler. I have a lot of mentors in my life. But at the end of the day, yes, I believe in politics and I vote and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the answer is not in politics, man. The answer is in us. All of us have a powerful part to play. The people come to me, what we can do with the poor, what we can do, what are you doing? That's what we can do. You go there and you reach one young man, that's one young man you reach and you mentor and you help, that's one young man he can carry a gun. And if everybody could think that way, if you can't get it done, you come, I run a program, temperament training, and I can train you how to deal with these young men. You call us, I can give you opportunities to help young men, to mentor and sponsor young men. I can do all of that.
You ever get discouraged?
I get discouraged all the time.
I mean, look, 30 murders.
Yeah.
127.
But I ain't gonna let it paralyze me.
Aren't you losing the war?
No, I'm not losing the war. The war is won inside me. That's where the battle is waged.
Yeah, but the young men are dying.
Well,
They're in prison.
They're
on drugs.
But all ain't lost. All is not
Well,
lost.
how could you, are we winning the war or losing?
We winning.
Well, it doesn't look so.
You don't mind how it look. I walk by faith, not by sight. You think the devil is a liar. You think the devil can come and defeat. A couple of guys might get killed and whatsoever, but at the end of the day, we gonna win and we gonna have the victory. I believe that. Young men are gonna rise up and go to school and be educated and go to college and start businesses and start families and do things. And not all of these young men are gonna die in gangs. I declare that.
More gonna die?
No, not more gonna die. We can have some deaths and what's not, but most of these young men are going to rise up and they can come forward in Jesus' name. I believe that. Hope is a strong word, you know.
You got very passionate just now.
Yes, I believe.
Because when I asked you, you said we're at war.
We at war.
And I asked you,
yes.
Are we losing the war?
We ain't losing. Sometimes it might look like we're losing, but we're not losing. We on the winning side. Jesus Christ has already won the victory. And if we believe that, we got the victory. That we got to all come together and believe that.
And this is Holy Week.
Yes, this is Holy Week. There's a lot of religious things going on.
So the crucifixion and the resurrection has a lot to do with this?
Yes. Where one man came and died for many. One man laid down his life. They didn't kill Jesus. They the Jews killed him. The Jews didn't kill Jesus. They say we kill him, but we didn't kill him neither. He laid down his life. He said, no man have the power to take my life. I laid it down and I raised it back up. That's a man who knew who he was. When he was questioned, I think it was part of the question.
And what difference does Christ make to this war we're in?
What Christ make every difference, because Christ died for every one of those young men who killed one another. He died and shed his blood and he saw them. He don't like what's going on, you know. But we need to understand something. God has the power. And Jesus Christ was resurrected, and he's a resurrected man, and he cares about these young men. That's why I don't let a young man leave my presence. If I talk to them, by going to school and I preach to them, I always ask them to accept Jesus Christ as Lord, and I anoint them and I pray for them, because I believe if I plant the seed, it says in the book of Peter, the seed is an incorruptible seed. It always produces. And if I pray over that seed I planted those young men, I laid my hand about 60 young men at LW Young last week Thursday. And I called forth life inside them. And I called forth the gifts and the talent that God has placed inside them that will come forth and their life will not be snuffed out. In Jesus' name. And I believe that. I believe that.
Have any doubts?
Doubt? I doubt sometimes. I don't like to get the best of me. I got feelings, you know. I feel these things, but I don't let them paralyze me. I used to be an emotional person one time ago, you know, that's my feelings control me, you know. I feel something I say, I feel something I do it. You know, the Bible says, fools say everything he thinks. And a man who doesn't have control over his spirit is like a city broken down without walls. My power ain't over nobody else, you know. My power is over me. That's the power I have. I got to take responsibility for my actions. And what I don't take responsibility for, I'll never fix. And what I don't confront, I'll never conquer. I'm not a conqueror, you know. I am more than a conqueror. And so are these young men. They just didn't know it yet.
Eric, you know, you're a miracle.
Of course. So are you.
But when I knew you as a tough guy, a black boy.
I was a guinea pig to you one time. I talked to you.
So what?
I was one of your guinea pigs one time.
All right. But, you know, to see what God has done in your life. The question at the beginning of the program was, yes, our young black men are dying. Will there be a Holocaust? Not as long as young men like Eric Fox are around. This is the answer to our country. He is the hero, and young men like him are the heroes who came from nothingness and destruction and violence, drugs, but by the power and grace of God, God has raised them up to be now there for us. Hold him up in prayer. Support him. Give him $1. You can always use something. Encourage him. Eric, how do the people find you?
You can find me at Teen Challenge Bahamas. The number is 3410613, or you can send me an email at tchallenge@callwave.com. You can fax me at 3410829. They are my numbers. You can call me on my cell, 4348111. I do house calls. I'll come to your house and talk to you, sir.
Eric, there's some parent who's listening, because you've seen in my programs other parents.
Yes.
They want to kill themselves. They want to give up.
Yeah.
Who just feels distraught. They don't know what to do. The kid is controlling the whole family. What you want to leave a word for them of encouragement?
I want to say something to that mom, that dad, or maybe you might be together, or maybe not, might be a single. But I want to say to you, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. If you need some techniques and some insight on how to deal with your sons or your daughters, case, I can give you that. The sad thing is that I don't want you to be there enabling them to stay in their condition that is reaping havoc on you and the rest of your family. You give me a call, I give you some insight, but be in prayer. All is not lost. The dreams and desires that you had for your child when they were born, there's still a possibility them things can come to pass, and you have a lot to do with bringing those things to pass in your child's life. Be patient. All is not lost. God is with you. And I'm praying for you.
Eric, thank you so much. And may
you, man.
God bless you in your
Amen.
work.
Amen. Thank you, man.
Thank you, and good night.